What if I told you there's a secret economic blueprint, a hidden operating system that explains the most terrifying regimes of the 20th century? An ideology that's not capitalism and it's not communism, but something else entirely.
Now, really, just think about it for a second. What if behind the rise of fascist Italy, Nazi Germany, and yeah, even the early Soviet Union, there was a shared playbook, a hidden third way that could literally rewrite everything you think you know about modern history?
Well, there is, and it's called corporatism. And I'm telling you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is not some dusty, boring historical theory. It is the active blueprint for total economic and social control. And tonight, we are going to tear it wide open.
Okay, let's open the case file. First, we're going to uncover this forgotten third way. Then, and this is crucial, we'll dismantle a huge misunderstanding about the word itself. After that, we break down the terrifying three-step machine of control, reveal its most radical idea, what I'm calling the Great Property Heist, and finally, we'll trace its truly ancient, kind of mysterious roots. So, what is this forgotten path? You see, corporatism sold itself as the ultimate solution, a third way that could navigate between the two giants that defined the 20th century. Because in the eyes of its architects, both liberal capitalism and Marxist communism were, well, they were fatally flawed. Just look at how corporatism frames its rivals. It sees capitalism as anti-national. Why? Because big money, mammon, has no loyalty, right? It'll always chase profit over the health of the nation. But it sees Marxism as just as dangerous, because its whole philosophy is built on class warfare, pitting worker against owner, tearing the nation apart from the inside. Corporatism imagines the nation as a grand orchestra. Capitalism is like the brass section playing way too loud for itself, and communism is the strings trying to smash the woodwinds. Corporatism's solution? A single conductor, the state, forcing everyone to play from the exact same sheet music, in perfect, terrifying harmony. And this quote, wow, this gets to the absolute chilling core of that belief. Under corporatism, you, the individual, are nothing. Your only value, your only identity, comes from your function within the national community, the folk community. Your personal dreams, irrelevant. Your class interests, a dangerous distraction. Everything serves the whole. Okay, I have to stop here and make something absolutely crystal clear, because this is the single biggest point of confusion and we need to get it right. When you hear the word corporatism, you have to forget everything you think you know. Let me be blunt. We are not talking about what people today call corporatocracy, the power of massive companies like Apple or Amazon or Google. That's crony capitalism. Historical corporatism is pretty much the opposite. It's an ideology designed to crush the power of independent, profit-seeking businesses and bend them to the will of the state. Its true origins are the key. The name corporatism comes from the Latin word corpus, which means body. It's a throwback to the medieval guilds of Europe, the corporazioni. These weren't profit-driven businesses. They were associations of craftsmen organized by their function in society. The whole system was a total rejection of materialism, a rejection of mammon. Your role was everything. Your personal wealth meant nothing. But this wasn't just some abstract philosophy. No, it was a machine, a practical three-step machine designed to seize an entire economy and force it to do exactly what the state wanted. Here's how it worked. So here's how the machine works. Step 1, organize. The state dissolves all independent labor unions and all business associations. Everyone in an entire industry, from the CEO down to the janitor, is forced into a single state-controlled group called a syndicate. Step 2, negotiate. Representatives from the workers, the owners, and the state all sit down to hash out wages, prices, you name it. But here's the trap. Step 3, control. This is not a negotiation between equals, not even close. The state's representative is the final judge. They have the final say, always. And the goal? Eliminate all conflict. No strikes, no lockouts, nothing that could possibly disrupt the national machine. This quote just perfectly captures the brutal logic of the whole machine. You think your company deserves higher profits? Or you think your workers deserve a raise? Too bad. If your goals conflict with the state's definition of the national interest, you lose. You will be crushed. No group gets to put itself before the whole. The state's power is absolute. Okay, now we get to the most radical, the most mind-blowing part of this whole blueprint. The part that reveals the true, totalizing nature of this system, its view on private property.
So you think you own your house, your business? Under corporatism, you're wrong. Private property is not a natural right. It is a conditional privilege, a social function, granted to you by the state for the good of the state.
Just think about what this means. You aren't really an owner. You're just a steward, managing property on behalf of the nation. Your property is basically a loan from the folk community. And if you misuse that loan, if you don't run your business exactly the way the state demands, the state has the full authority to step in, manage it, control it, or just take it away. In Germany, they literally just nullified the part of the Constitution that guaranteed private property. And this wasn't just some theory. By 1934, Mussolini himself was bragging that 3/4 of the Italian economy is in the hands of the state.
And if you think this is just theory, listen to this chilling quote from a German businessman who was living through it. He saw the terrifying reality. Sure, he might have held the title of owner, but he knew the state had total control. The line between his reality and outright communism had become dangerously, terrifyingly thin. So where on earth did this incredible, world-altering idea even come from? You might think it was just invented in the chaos of the 20th century, but the truth is so much stranger. This blueprint, it's ancient. Its roots go back thousands of years. This idea has a long, shadowy history. The core concept, organizing society by function instead of by individual choice, it just keeps popping up. You see it in the Roman Empire's occupational groups, the collegia, that bound people together by their trade. You see it in the powerful guilds that dominated the Middle Ages, controlling every single aspect of a person's economic life, creating an existence that was corporate rather than individual. The idea was even revived by the Catholic Church, with popes like Leo XIII and Pius XI promoting it as a spiritual third way to fight both greedy, soulless capitalism and godless communism. Even philosophers like Hegel argued these groups were like a second family, essential for stopping society from dissolving into just a bunch of selfish individuals. So what we're really looking at here is an ancient blueprint for total social and economic organization, a system where the individual is erased in favor of the group, and the group is controlled completely by the state, a system that just lay dormant for centuries before being resurrected in the 20th century, with absolutely devastating consequences. So we have the blueprint, we've seen the schematics for the machine, a design for ultimate control that puts the nation above everything else. But that leaves one huge, terrifying question. Who actually dared to build it? The answer is way more widespread and way more modern than you could ever possibly imagine. In part 2, we uncover the shocking list of regimes that took this ancient blueprint and weaponized it to forge their empires. Trust me, the story is just getting started.